Wow, is that Hashinshin here again with another late patch review? You know it. Why? Because they put the patch, they put it live a day early, and then in addition to that, they unveiled all the Season 14 changes. So I left that video up because I know it would get like a lot of views and be generally good. And now we're doing this video. So what are we doing in this video? We're going over patch 13.23. What's going on in this patch? Well, let's talk about it. And since we are here a little bit late, we get to look more at the win rates around the world, and we get to discuss these changes more in depth. Who won? Who lost? What happened? Well, let's talk about all these nerfs to Briar, Jarvan, Kosante, Nefiri, and Ziggs. The buffs to Draven, Janna, Riven, Trundle, and Vel'Koz. The adjustment to Azir, the adjustment to Turret Gold, as well as the new skins for Blitzcrank, Beescrank, Beescause, and King Beesgar. Okay. Additionally, the new Ride ID change is here. And what is in this Ride ID change? That's right. We can now see that it has completely broken the game. Everyone is now Raid 04 or something else. Everyone seems to do the same thing. So what's going on with Azir? Well, as we can clearly see with Mr. Azir, the Mr. Zir is Mr. Zir, that he now procs on hits on his W. That is his Sand Soldier. So when his Sand Soldier attacks somebody, it now procs a little bit of his on-hit damage. However, the base damage on his Arise has gone down to compensate. So now once he gets Nashor's Tooth, he ends up a little bit stronger, but he's a little bit weaker before Nashor's Tooth. The downside of this change is he has a weaker early game. The upside of this change is he has a stronger late game. The problem here is this does seem at a glance, I can't say 100% for sure. I can't say 100%, but at a glance, this does appear to be a slight negative for the champion. He does seem to be slightly doing negative, but it's a bit too early in the patch to tell. At either rate, it seems to have been about a net neutral change overall. Probably will end up being a net neutral change. I'm not sure Azir needed to be even stronger late game, and he needed to be weaker early game. I'm not sure that that's a change that is good or healthy for the game, but there we go. Good job, Azir. Briar. Okay, so Briar was obviously doing too good at the low ranks. Now they have reduced her base HP and they've reduced the amount of damage on her snack attack. That's when she's frenzying or something, and then she presses W and it goes yum, and everyone goes, ah, adorable. Another sexualized champion made by Riot Video Games. So it seems with this change that Briar is still overpowered at the low ranks. And we will likely see her back here again next week with another nerf. Though they might, at this point, they might finally say screw it and just allow Briar to be kind of in that weird Nocturne position of extremely dominant at the low ranks and not really that good at the high ranks. They might finally enter her in that position. But either way, yeah. So basically, Snack Attack has lost, the base damage has gone from 10% missing to 9% missing. Then the AD ratio went from 3.5% to 2.5%. So definitely a considerable hit to this champion. Okay. I guess I want to talk about this for a second because I don't really understand what's going on here with Briar. Why did Riot make a champion that is just another giga stat checker of Doom? I feel like definitely there's too many giga stat checkers of Doom. Maybe Riot is trying to make champions more oriented for like the lower rank champions, or sorry, I should say the lower rank players. I'm not really sure. Like, did lower rank players not have enough champions? Were they struggling? Did they not have a diverse champion pool? Because like they already played champions like Riven, like screw it. I mean, if we look into Azir, I think let me look at Azir here. Even Azir has managed to enter the number 9 despite low rankers not being able to play him at all, right? We look at jungle, we can see Lee Sin is the most popular jungle. So like, as long as you make mid-tier skilled champions, and yes, Lee Sin is mid-tier skill, that would be blasphemy to say 10 years ago, but now he is firmly in the mid-tier of skill. I think mid-tier skill champions are fine, and they probably should have focused more on that. I'm not sure that these like giga low skill champions like Bel'Veth and Briar were like good for the game, because they're overinflated at the low ranks and they don't show up at the high ranks. So I guess I just don't understand why are we making champions like this, right? Like, what is the purpose? It ends up in this weird position. I mean, let me put it this way. Garen currently has a better win rate spread than Briar or Nocturne or Bel'Veth, and I don't understand, like, why are those. Let's just move on. Okay, Draven, Whirling Death. Draven R now returns to his body after striking a champion while he's dead. Okay, Draven is kind of overtuned right now and has been for years. He's kind of in that weird Rengar style where, like, he's not popular enough that he gets nerfed, but he's popular enough that he's just like this weird high-ranking permaban that's just been permaban for such a long time. If you ever go look at it and we look at Masters Plus Draven, you can actually see Draven's ban rate is 36%. And it has not moved out of being one of the highest ban champions for quite some time. This is a spot that Rengar used to sit in before he finally got nerfed. Now Rengar sits and he's like, yeah, he's still 14, 15%. It's like he's still high, right? But like, I feel like they need to do a nerf to Draven, much like they did a nerf to Rengar, and actually kind of bring him down a bit so that he doesn't just sit here being permaban. Because right now, if you actually know how to play Draven, his early game is just kind of stupidly overtuned. That's all I have to say. His early game is just kind of like weirdly overtuned. So I'm just saying, you know, Riot, maybe we don't keep him here. Now, this is just a quality of life. Draven's R now returns to his body after striking a champion while he's dead. This is not really that big a deal. It's not really something that's like really changing that much, to be honest. So this isn't like they're listing it in the patch notes rather than being it in a bug fix, because they're kind of thinking like, oh, maybe this will overtune the champion, right? Like, we don't want another champion bug fix that buffs the champion's win rate a lot, right? So they're putting him here. But, you know, realistically speaking, this is just not going to do anything. Okay, Janna. I'm not really sure what's going on here with Janna. I think this is a really bad idea. And in fact, I can guesstimate on whether or not this is a bad idea because we're a couple days into this patch, so we can kind of see. And sure enough, here we go. Janna is now the highest win rate support. Wow, look at that. How did I know that was going to happen? How did I know? Well, all you people who watched my patch preview video know I know that was going to happen, right? Like, that was not a mystery. Obviously, that was going to happen. How did I know? Because here, let me just show you. Sorry, I need to respond to somebody on my phone because they need responses right now. It's actually important, but because okay, if we go here back to last patch, we can see Janna right after getting a rework at Platinum Plus was 50%, at Masters Plus was 50%, and at all ranks was, you guessed it, where's Janna? Am I blind? 50%. So here's the thing, guys. Right after a champion gets reworked, where do you think their win rate's gonna go? Do you think it's gonna go up? Do you think it's gonna go down? Or do you think it's gonna stay the exact same? Which one of those three do you think is gonna happen? Right after a champion gets reworked, do you think like people will get better at them, worse at them, or do you think everyone has already perfectly mastered the champion? Which of those three do you think is gonna happen? Obviously, people will get better at the champion, right? Like, I think we can all agree on that, right? So you can see Janna's win rate at all ranks is now 51%. Her win rate at Plat Plus is now 52.45%. I don't want to really look at her win rate above that because we're still early in the patch, so we don't have a lot of data. But the point is, Janna's win rate is really, really, really high right now. So what did they do? They pushed her passive more into the early game. Instead of 20 to 35% bonus movement speed as damage, it's now 30% of bonus movement speed as damage. Her Zephyr cooldown has gone from 9 to 7 to 8 to 6, so she gets to slow more often. Zephyr targeting is now better against large targets, neutral against small targets. I'm not going to go into this change because you guys explain. Sometimes trying to explain more complicated changes to you guys is difficult. So, yeah, it's difficult. Let's just put it that way. Monsoon's cooldown is going from 150 to 120 to 130 to 100 seconds. So 20 seconds less cooldown on her ultimate, 1 second less cooldown on her Zephyr, and more damage or late game on her passive, a bit less damage on her late game passive. Overall, obviously, big buffs onto Janna, which in turn has caused her win rate to spike a little bit. At this point, will it continue to go up or down? In my opinion, I think it will continue to go up a little bit, because people don't generally learn a rework. Like people don't generally learn a rework instantly. It takes a little bit of time for people to learn reworks. Like, you don't just like one day you play a champion, and then like, oh wow, I put one game into the new Janna rework. Now I know how to play the champion, right? Like that's not how it happens. And particularly because they gave the rework some actual mechanics and stuff to go on, it means that you know, people are gonna have to learn those additional mechanics. Okay. Now let's go into Jarvan. Now, I think Jarvan has been utterly annihilated, so let's talk about Jarvan. Jarvan the Fourth has been very prominent in solo queue with solid pick, ban, and win rates. He currently assesses a large amount of haste through his build, which is leading to an impressive QE uptime. To reduce this particular strength, we're increasing cooldown on Q, which should be accessible once he builds some ability haste, but not quite as impressive as it is now. So let me talk about this problem here right now. The problem right now is after this nerf, we can see at Emerald Plus, with 24,000 games reporting, Jarvan's win rate is down to 48%. So far from being this oppressive pick that is dominating, but he's 49% at the low ranks. At Plat Plus, we go to 48%. At Diamond Plus, we go with 7,000 games reporting, we're at 48%. Low 48% at that, okay? So I knew this was going to be too much. Yes, Jarvan had a decent ban pick win rate. It was good, but it wasn't like oppressive, right? Like, I can understand a rioter might personally have been mad at Jarvan. Like, you personally, as a player, you might have been mad at Jarvan, but that doesn't mean that, like, Jarvan as a champion is overpowered. Do you get that? Like, just because you are mad at him does not make him overpowered. He just was a good meta pick. Now, there's lots of good meta picks, and this, you know, to be blunt, this does kind of make me worried. Are they just going to nerf whenever they feel like it? Do they just now nerf any good meta pick? Because we have champions who are legitimately overpowered with supremely oppressive win, pick, and ban rates, like Israel. Supremely overpowered champions that just go completely uncontested by any patch note. Then we have other champions who merely have good win, pick, and ban rates, like Aatrox, right? Like, are we going to nerf Aatrox next? Is that what's going to happen? Like, you know, where does this go, right? Where does this go from here? Are we now... any champion that you don't like? Because let's look back at last patch, right? Like, if we look at Emerald last patch, he had a good win, pick, and ban rate. So you gave him a fairly significant nerf, increasing the cooldown in his Q from 6 seconds to 8 seconds. That's a fairly large cooldown, right? And if we look at these stats here, 50, 22, 9, 50, 16, 17, right? So I guess the problem is, why is this okay, unnerfable? This is good, healthy gameplay, good for the game, right? But then like you look at this and they're like, oh good, 48% win rate. Finally, he's balanced. Oh boy, why did I even close that? Speaking of champions that Riot seems to have a stick up their ass about. So can we talk for a second? All of us, like, Riot, leave the room. Riot, leave the room. You guys are too stupid to ever acknowledge reality. Rioters, you don't get to look at this, okay? But for all of us who have more than 3 brain cells, okay? K'Sante's win rate is back down to 45% after their nerfs at the low ranks. At all ranks, his win rate is back down to 45%. Okay? Do you guys get that? Before they did his rework, we still have the stats here. We can see that K'Sante's win rate, am I blind? Oh, there we go, 44.97%. So we've gone from 44.97%, and after all this work, he's gone to 55.05%. So his win rate has gone up 0.08%. For completely reworking how a lot of his mechanics have worked, for making a ton of his matchups worse, for making this champion significantly less interesting to pilot, let's put it that way, we have not even affected his low ranking win rate. So my question to you, Riot, was, I guess, is it worth it? Now, before you say, but maybe he's more balanced at the high ranks now. No, I mean, with 3,000 games reporting, he's got a 46% win rate, right? Let's go all the way down to before he was reworked, 48%. So what are we in here? What problem are we in here? It seems the problem has been made even worse, in fact. He's doing even worse at the high ranks, but is still just as picked at the extreme high ranks. I don't know, dude. We're gonna have put so much time into this champion just because one salty rioter wanted to remove Flash Q. And what was Kosante's pick ban at Worlds, by the way? For a champion who has received this much attention, was he the pick ban of Worlds? Was Kosante the 100% pick ban? I'm wondering this one. Because it was Rumble. It wasn't even Kosante. It was Rumble. Has Rumble received... Is Rumble getting nerfed? Is Rumble getting an adjustment? Is Rumble getting reworked? No, because you like Rumble. As a rioter, you like Rumble. And we all know who I'm talking about here, okay? So Rumble is okay. Pick ban Rumble, acceptable. Good behavior. We like it, okay? Kosante not even being pick banned. In fact, let me... I'm gonna look this up. World's main event champion stats. Let's look at this. Let's see. Rumble. We're looking at pick ban. Rumble maintained an 83% pick ban. Kosante was down here at 55%. Let me just keep this in perspective to you guys. That means Jax was higher with a 62% pick ban. He was a higher pick ban than Rumble. Rumble was 83% pick ban. Renekton was at 44%, so not even that much further below Kosante. Like, do you guys understand what I'm trying to say here? It's pretty goddamn obvious that once the pros got that stick out of their ass and they actually started to admit that maybe maybe Kosante had more counterplay than they were willing to admit, it does start to seem like maybe once World Finals was on the line, maybe it started to become apparent that, well, maybe Kosante's not an unbeatable Giga carry of Dune. Maybe he's not. And maybe actually there's other top laners that are better. And maybe his counter picks are actually kind of harsh. But what did we do? We obliterated his Q. We made it double the mana cost early, so he can't stack it as easy. We nerfed the damage on his Q as well. They fixed the bug on his W finally. They kind of admit that they couldn't fix all of it though. Now, if Pathmaker's channel is ended prematurely, the channel will simply end without a dash. So because there's a lot of bugs that allow you to cancel Pathmaker, they kind of just threw their hands up in the air and they're like, fine. If you cancel it early, it doesn't get the dash anymore, which is probably the best way to do it, right? Because the problem was there were so many different ways to bug it out and cancel it. They can't catch them all, especially because they kind of added it weirdly, like in the middle of the season without any beta testing or anything, right? There was no testing on this ability whatsoever. They just randomly added a channel to it. Whoever did that, you probably should learn how QA works, okay? But the problem is that, like, as designers, they need to deal with the reality of the situation. And yes, if you don't get the channel off, it shouldn't cast. You know, that's just a good default rule that other channels work with, right? Like, there's no way to like bug out Fiddlesticks' ultimate and just make it instant cast, right? And if you do cancel its channels, Fiddlesticks' ultimate just doesn't go off. So this is the fair way, in my opinion. This is the best way to have done it. Obviously, just make it work like other channels. It might sound like I'm saying they're stupid, but no, they're being smart, right? I think they should have tested it more, obviously, but just making it work like other channels is the best idea, right? Like, that just makes sense. I don't know why it didn't from the beginning. Why wouldn't it just work like that, you know, from the beginning? So then what else are they doing here? Footwork now has more base shield. So instead of 45 to 125, it's now 50 to 210. But instead of a 15% health ratio, it's now a 10% health ratio. So that it's a fairly substantial nerf to his like early to mid game. But I mean, I would have to let me think about this. How much HP do you think Kosante ends up with, like, let's say late game? 2500. So ooh, it's like a little bit of a nerf in like the hyper late game, but not, I mean, it's basically a nerf all game. Let's just put it that way, right? Like, it's basically a nerf all game. Okay, so footwork got nerfed basically all game. The Q, sorry, I'm like trying to map this out because I hadn't actually mapped these out. I'm like curious for my own sake. So Q mana cost up, Q damage down, fleet footwork, just regular footwork, shielding down. Then his ultimate now does less passive damage in the early game, slightly more in the late game. And then the amount of base damage he gets in his ultimate, like base attack damage, went down by 5. So damage nerf, damage nerf, damage nerf, shield nerf, mana nerf. Yeah, shockingly, this champion hasn't really survived and is now significantly weaker. Okay. Nafiri enters the fight. Okay. So Nafiri's getting nerfed. I'm not really going to spend that much time on this one because it's like, there's only so many times I can, there's only so many times. Oh my God. Dude, I was ordering food and the food delivery, sorry, I just, the front door at my apartment is like broken, so I can't open it and I can't do anything and I can't let them have the key or anything. So I have to continuously tell them to go to the front desk. But then like I keep trying to give them directions to the front desk and like they don't understand the directions, and I'm being increasingly formulaic about it, right? I'm like, as you enter the garage, you shall turn to your left. As you see on your left, the door will not open. That is where you are. Then you take a left. You will now exit the garage and turn to your right. On your right. Yeah, and that's what I'm like typing out here over and over again, right? And they're just like increasingly. Okay, I can't like show you what he's saying, but it's like, I'm getting exasperated here. I'm dying. Chat, I'm dying inside, okay? Okay. There's a 2-for-1 deal on pizzas. I just wanted pizzas, man. Okay. So, with Nafiri, so there's only so many times per patch I can kind of try to explain this, right? Like, I explained this with Briar, and now I'm explaining the same thing. Here we go with, Nafiri. Okay. Overpowered at the low ranks, not very good at the high ranks, too strong at the low ranks, so she's getting nerfed. Does everybody get that? Okay. Riot, I mean, and here's the thing, I literally went over this with Briar, didn't I? I was talking about this with Briar, but now we have to talk about it with Nafiri. Wow, once again, another new champion that's too good at the low ranks, and not good at the high ranks. And so once again, Nafiri needs to be nerfed and will have a terrible, terrible, terrible win rate spread. Her win rate is going to be like 52% at the low ranks and like 45% at the high ranks. It's just, I feel like Riot is just failing in their champion design over and over and over and over again. Because I keep reading these patch notes, I keep going over these same things over and over again. And like, I'm having deja vu because like I feel like for you guys watching me, I'm going over the same concepts over and over again, right? Like Nafiri is just too simple. She doesn't really have enough gameplay, and so because of that, she excels at the low ranks, and now her high rank is going to be useless because of the low rank. Anyway, let's go through it. Her doggo damage is going from 6 to 30, 29.9, I'm going to call 30, from 6 to 30 to 5 to 25. So her doggos will deal less damage, and because her doggos attack so much, this will add up a lot. Then her E damage is going from 65 to 205 to 60 to 180. 5 less damage at the early rank and 25 less damage at the higher rank, okay? Then the maximum eviscerate damage is going down from 100 to 300 to 95 to 275. So 5 less damage at rank 1, 25 less damage at rank 5. So just the same at each rank. I don't know why I read it twice. Just don't ask me. Riven. Okay. Riven players. I'm going to make a video on Riven discussing this, but let's just go over it for now. Riven players continue to be the most babied, coddled, easy mode abusing champions, jerking off to Riven porn, pretending they're special little babies because they can play Riven. Do you want to know what happened after this Riven buff? This absolutely large Riven buff. Do you guys want to know what happened to this one? Okay. So basically, what happened is Riven's win rate is now 50%. She's perfectly... Wait. Oh, wait. That's her low rank buff. Her low ELO... Low Iron Riven players are now getting 50.83% win rate. Oh, no. And you know what that means? All y'all sitting here. Oh, you know what that means? We all know what this means. Oh, that's right. Riven's win rate at the low ranks is now 50.83%, almost 51%. At Platinum, her win rate is now 51.84%. Oh no, says Chad. Oh no, the dumbass piece of shit Riven mains got overbuffed again. The abusive, absolutely moronic Riven mains have managed to whine and cringe their way into making their champion giga broken. At Emerald Plus, we can now see Riven's win rate is 51.96%. At Diamond Plus, we can see her win rate is 52.67%. That's right. The whiny, abusive man-children Riven mains have whined their way into Riven being the most broken top laner. Again, as it happens every single goddamn season. As it happens every single season, Riven is now the most broken top laner. We did it, Riven mains. You fucking cringed your way into another free challenger at the end of a season. I'm going to go over this in another video talking about this because Riven mains are pathetic little man children. They are absolute cringe lords who think that because they took the time to learn fast Q that they deserve to be like 5 divisions ahead where they deserve to be. You don't deserve anything. You guys are fucking losers. No, I mean that in every way. You take this video game so seriously that you basically spam the fuck out of developers and whine your way until your fucking waifu is broken as shit. Then you defend her and say, despite all logic, actually, Riven deserves a 55% win rate. And here's the thing, you're saying 55% Hashinshin, don't exaggerate. All we saw was, no. As we see, and with here's what we're looking at. With 1,200 games reported, which is not a lot, but we are seeing at the high ranks, Riven is already 54% win rate. I have been tracking it. Okay, it goes up. As you clearly saw, from low rank to high rank, her win rate goes up. Riven is well back into the path of being. Yes, no, she already is it. Let's say it. She is the most broken top laner in the game. Every single Riven player is an abuser who cannot play any other champion requiring any of the tiniest amount of talent. You suck at this game. And the only way you ever look good is Riven. And you whine about counter picks, but there's no such thing as a counter pick to Riven. No. No, Riven doesn't have counter picks. She just has champions that can go even with her. And you whine and shit your pants when any champion can do anything to Riven because she's your special little waifu. And as you go post your porn on the Riven main subreddit, you all pretend that you're so amazing players because you can shit on every champion with your zero effort combos that have no counterplay. You are pathetic. So her damage on her Q went up. The AD ratio went from 45 to 65%. or sorry, from 45 to 65% to 50 to 70%. So every single Q gets a 5% AD ratio boost. Then the total damage gained in her ultimate went from 20% to 25%. This has seen a massive boost to Riven's win rate. And unlike, I'm gonna say it, cringe lord fucking Riven YouTubers who math out her damage at 120 like that's fucking significant at all. Yes, that other Riven YouTuber, he's a fucking cringe lord, dude. 120 damage? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Dude, like, your audience has to be the dumbest people on the planet if they actually bought that was a realistic. I tried to be like really nice in my video, but like, my God, dude, his audience has to be the dumbest people on the planet. For those who don't understand, 120 damage, that is Riven at level 5 with a pickaxe and a longsword, okay? At level 6, she already has more than 120 damage. Yet, like, all these dumbass Riven mains looked at that and they're like, but with 120 damage, it's not that big of a buff. Like, oh wow, the AD ratio buff doesn't really affect you until you've completed an item? Wow, shocking, crazy. How stupid are Riven mains? Do their brains work less than like other human beings? Are their brains, like, do they have less brain cells? On average, do Riven mains have less IQ? Do they not understand concepts at a level that other human beings do? I'm like actually curious right now because you're gonna have to, Riven mains, you're just gonna have to make me understand how you are so stupid that you legitimately like went 120 damage. Yeah, that seems about late game damage numbers. It probably wasn't that big of a buff. Like, how did that thought ever enter your brain? How did that go into your brain and you thought to yourself, wow, that's a reasonable thought. That is such a good take. God damn, Riven players are so stupid, dude. Trundle. Hey guys, Trundle got one more AD a level, but if you look at his level 5 damage, because of how level scaling works, he only got like 2.5 damage at level 5. So actually guys, 1 AD a level is not really that big a deal because it's only 2.5 damage by level 5. It's really not that significant. Please, beyond level 5, it doesn't even do anything. Don't notice it, chat. Don't notice it. 51% win rate? But how? He only got 2.5 damage at level 5. How does his win rate go up that much? I'm a dumbass Riven main. Math don't work so good in my head. Oh no, how did his win rate go up 4%? As a Riven main, all I do is post porn. I'm so fucking stupid. So anyway, getting 1 AD a level on Trundle impacts his attack damage, obviously. Then it impacts his Divine Sunderer and his Trinity, obviously. Then reducing the mana cost on his Q also impacts him. His win rate went up substantially because as the game progresses beyond level 5, you stupid piece of shit Riven mains, as the game progresses beyond level 5, this actually amounts to a fairly significant damage buff. To be clear, 17 damage at level 18, that's, if you have Trinity Force as one example, that's 17 more damage on the auto attack. Then that is 34 more damage on the Trinity proc. So then that's 51 more damage throughout the entire attack with Trinity, which adds up and is a lot. You fucking stupid Riven man. Dude, I can't even call them stupid because they're all gonna outrank me now because they're all abusing the most broken champion in the game. Like, golf clap Riven mains, you're all gonna end the season by cheating with Riven. We're all gonna do it. How many? Okay, guys, quote me on this. Watch how many Riven mains post. Guys, this is the highest rank I got this season. Look how good I'm doing now. I'm suddenly so good at League of Legends. You're gonna see it posted on like Twitter and Reddit and shit. They're gonna be like, guys, look at my KDA. You're gonna see like Riven montages going off on TikTok, YouTube shorts and shit. You're like, oh my god, Riven 1v5. Like, congratulations guys, you're playing literally the most broken champion in the game. You did it. Golf clap, easiest 0 counterplay champion in the game. You did it. Vel'Koz is getting a buff. His damage of his passive is going up. The base damage is going up from 33 to 169 to 35 to 180. So a little bit more base damage on his passive proc. And then the AP ratio went from 50% to 60%. Riot said that Vel'Koz mains gave them no feedback, despite the fact that Vel'Koz mains gave Riot a lot of feedback. In fact, it was actually a lot. So good job there, Riot Video Games. Good job. Yeah, not really sure what to say about that one. You guys are special ed. Ziggs. Okay. Ziggs is getting nerfed. Yeah. Ziggs is getting nerfed. They snuck in this little base attack damage buff weirdly. Okay. So Ziggs was still playable in bot lane, which apparently pissed off Riot for some reason. He wasn't even good. He was just playable. So his base attack damage is going up by 1, which is good, I guess. Then the amount of damage his Q does is going down by 10. Then his satchel cooldown is going from 20 to 12 to 24 to 12, a 4-second increase in its level 1 cooldown. Then the mana cost on satchel charge is also going up from 65 to 80. So I highly suspect that Ziggs won't really be viable in the bot lane anymore. That is basically it for Ziggs. Bye-bye Ziggs in the bot lane. Don't quote me on that one. He might somehow survive, and then I'd look like a fool. I would look a fool, Chad. I mean, I can look up his win rate right now. Let's look at his win rate in the bot lane. Where you at, Mr. Ziggs? He's always at like the lowest pick. Somehow Ziggs is always like a catastrophic issue in bot lane, despite the fact he's got like one of the lowest pick rates. Yeah, 17th highest pick rate, this chat, 51% win rate. And remember, Riot has said multiple times, mage bot lane win rate is inflated because people forget to take the MR rune into them and take the armor rune into them, which inflates their win rate. So as we can see, Ziggs is kind of, I mean, he still has a 25% ban rate. People still hate him. Bot laners are dumb dummies. Quote me on that. Oh, that was it? Oh, okay. Okay, so now we're on to the turret gold adjustment, which I'm not sure needed to happen. Hold on, these. Okay, we're on to the turret gold adjustment, which I don't think needed to happen, but did happen anyway. So basically, the amount of global gold that inner turrets and inhib turrets give, the global gold has been reduced. But then on the inner turret, the global gold that was reduced is now given entirely to the person who took the turret, the proximity gold, the local gold, if they want to call it, right? So the person who kills these turrets gets more gold, their team gets less gold. Then, for some reason, in addition to that, the inhibitor turret was then also increased, let's call it that way, to give from 300 total gold to 500 total gold, which is odd. I'm not sure why. So inhib turrets give 200 more gold, and killing the inhib turret and the inner turret gives more local gold. So split pushing has been buffed. I think this is, I mean, let's read their reasoning for this. And this patch will be adjusting turret gold rewards in an effort to make split pushing a more satisfying path to power. Inner turrets will have 125 gold shifted from global into local gold, which will raise the individual power level of anyone brave enough to push into the enemy territory to take them down. We're also shifting and raising the value of inhibitor turrets in order to make them a much more valuable overall objective overall. Currently, it isn't worth risking taking down an inhibitor turret while splitting, so we'd like to make this fairly dangerous objective more worthwhile. Statistically, top laners earn the most turret gold of any role in the game in every skill bracket, so a relative increase to local turret gold value should disproportionately help top laners convert their strength into more power and thus increase their agency over the game as a whole. Also, did you know turrets have items in their inventory that explain some of the various rules? They received a small clarity and counter blah blah blah. Okay, so Riot says this, that they're trying to help top lane, but just as a small thought here, just as something I'm thinking, then why are they absolutely shitting on old bruiser items in the preseason? Like every single bruiser item is losing like 200 to 300 health, 15 ability haste effects as well. Like it's kind of weird that bruiser items are being absolutely dumpstered into the ground, while then in the patch notes they're admitting top lane is still overall a bit too weak. It's just weird to me. Because like I as a person who like remembers things that happen ever, like I just noticed Riot is like obliterating bruisers in the preseason, but then still talking about top lane being too weak. And like to me, I see those two things and I'm like, huh, that's weird. So I don't think split pushing really needed to be made better. I think split pushing is earned, like I think split pushing is at that point where like it's, Like, it's obviously still too weak, but the problem is Riot is split pushing a little bit too much now to where it's finally become really goddamn annoying. Hullbreaker is just simply an annoying item. Like, it just really is. They've just pushed it so hard. It went from like an item that is good while split pushing to an item that is good and also makes you auto win split pushing, right? So like the only way to beat split pushing is to also then yourself be split pushing, right? And so it's a bit of a problem. I don't like Hullbreaker. I don't like how it's designed. I don't think like Hullbreaker is overpowered. I just find it annoying to fight. It's obviously still beatable. Hullbreaker is not built that often. It's not like a popular item. I just find it annoying when I have to fight it. Like any of these items in the past that like if one person builds it, the other person builds it, or else they automatically lose a split push. Like any of those items are just really annoying, and I don't know why Riot continues to push them. At any rate, this also has a downside because in the past you could give up an inhib turret. Like if I was behind my opponent, I could give up the inhib turret and go to a team fight. I could just let them take it. But now that it's worth 200 more gold, this might like you might start like entering the situation where you can't really come back after they take the inhib turret anymore. 200 more gold might not seem like a lot, but that's 2/3 of a kill, right? Like that's like a wave and a half right there. So it's not like when I'm already behind, this is like salt in the wound right here. ARAM adjustments, don't care. Nexus Plus adjustments, don't care. Blah, 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 blah. Not a lot of bug fixes today. None of these really seem to be doing anything. Yeah, okay. So let's look at the skins. We got Bee's Crank. Okay, it's Blitzcrank if he was a bee. It's Riot if they were a good company. Okay, I mean, looks cute. I kind of like it. King Begar. It's Vigar, you know, a bee onesie. You can actually see it's a bee onesie. It's not him as a bee. You can see, like, the fur outline. He's wearing a bee onesie, which is cute. I do like that. That is kind of funny. Why did Vigar, like, why is he just that funny champion that Riot dresses up in cute outfits? Like, when did he become that? I feel like he used to be taken more seriously. And now here he is. You can see Teemo in the lower right here. Teemo and oh, there's Yumi too. He stole Teemo and Yumi's honey, and he's running away with the honey. He's got an angry bee on his scepter. That little bee's like a little angry pouty face. Okay, I like it. That one's really cute. Actually, I like that one. Because, I guess the bees are staring on its horror. He's using bee magic to shoot honey beams at people. Honey beams. Okay, I like that one too. Okay, I like them all, chat. I like them all. I'm a simple man. Okay, Bees Crank in game. Okay, I actually like that. I actually like this one because it's like it like has a theme and it sticks to it and it's funny. I like it. I like it. Chat, I like it. Okay, keep Begar. I like the little crown. I like the little pouty. Look at that. Look at the little pouty bee. Look at it. Look at the little pouty bee on his stem. The little pouty bee. Look at the little pouty bee. Oh man. Because like then he looks so evil. He looks so evil. Okay, chat, all three of these skins get my seal of approval. They're all amazing. I love every single one of them. Every single one of these skins, chat, is amazing. I love them. I love every single one of these skins. Good job. 3 thumbs up, okay? And in fact, chat, here's what we're gonna do. Where is it? We're gonna be showing sad Teemo here as we read the Patreons, okay? So as always, a special shout out and thank you to all the valuable members of the Hashinshin Not a Cult. That is my Patreon. The Hashinshin Not a Cult. All of you are great people. You're amazing, and I'm definitely not stalling for time as I bring up the list. You're all amazing, wonderful people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All of you people who put money in, and thank you. That's right, thank you. Monica and Stefan Ortman for being super cultists. Thank you both. Thank you Blezenrock, Deep the Heretic, and T the Fish for being super fans. Thank you, all of you. For being not cultist deluxe. Thank you Amzarine, Kriftstoff Marks, Genny Shelbert. That, like, my brain broke for a second. Horus the Burb God, Pancho Rodriguez, Tenchi Kanashisa, Destroy, Sebastian. At the not cultist level, thank you Ben G, Creador, Daniel Fiala, Deruda, Yadgod, Fanaku, Full Yuki, Gwenmato, Henson, Hoon Arthur, Jordan Panning, Justicier, Calfo Zeramar, Kijubi, Ludwig III, Manuel, Metal M. Morgan, Nathaniel Mingham, Negative KDA, Noxian Scion, OMG Clover, Oz, PB&J, Red Daddy, Scorpion, Scott Shapiro, Suki02, Terra, Uvo Plaja, Veno, Vivian, WLC League of Legends, Wolfman, Jan, and Nitro Yoshi. Thank you all of you for supporting this channel. Thank you all of you for being here. Thank you all of you for watching this video. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope all of you have a great rest of your day. I'm gonna go eat my pizza.